Hi, I'm Gemma Merna and I'm at St Mary's Sexual Assault Referral Centre in central Manchester. As my character Carmel McQueen, who plays a supporting role in the current Hollyoaks rape storyline, I wanted to find out more about what men and women have to go through when reporting a rape. As well as gaining an understanding of the physical process, I hope my interview with Dr. Cath White will help those people affected to come forward and get themselves checked out. Thank you for meeting us today, Dr. White. Can I just start by asking what exactly a Sexual Assault Referral Centre is?
A SARC, or a Sexual Assault Referral Centre, is somewhere where victims of rape or sexual assault can come to get help, whether it's psychological help, so sort of counselling, or the forensic examination, or the medical aspect. So they might be worried about having had sexually transmitted infections. So it's a place, a resource for them for whatever help it is that they need.
Well, in Hollyoaks, my character's sister, Jackie McQueen, has just reported a rape. What procedures would a woman like Jackie have to go through, you know, when she comes and reports it?
Okay, well, I suppose one of the first things would be whether they decide to go through a police referral, so they've reported to the police. They don't have to do that. They can still access us if they're not sure whether they want to involve the police. A lot of people might be worried, they might have had a bad experience previously with the police, they might be frightened to report to the police. So what we would say is, if in doubt, get in touch with the SARC, the Sexual Assault Referral Centre, to find out what your options are. So we would give them that information, and then if they decided that they did want our help, we would arrange to see them.
So who would be involved after a rape is reported, and what roles do they play?
Okay, so if we'd arrange to see somebody, we'd organise a time that suited the person. They'd come down to us, and it's 24 hours a day. So they would arrive at the centre, like here, we're in one of the rooms in the centre. They'd be met by a doctor and a crisis worker. The crisis worker is there really to give the person information, because often people are pretty frightened, they're confused, they're not really sure what's happening. So the crisis worker would take them to one side in a room very similar to this and say, do you know where you are? Do you know why you're here? Are you okay to be here? This is what we can offer you. They would get some basic information from them. The doctor, if it was a police case, the doctor would be getting some information from the attending police officer about what is supposed to have happened and when, etc. One of the really important things that we're trying to do is to give control back to the victim. So the victim shouldn't be frightened that once they arrive at a SARC, everything's going to happen to them that they might not want to happen to them. So we would be giving them information and explaining, this is what we think we should do, is that okay with you? And explaining why we want to do it. The doctor would get some information from the police officer, and then when the person was ready, when the victim was ready, they would come through to the doctor and have the examination. Again, it's at their pace. Some people just want to get it all over and done with quickly. Some people want to ask a lot of questions. They come through. The doctor is looking at two parts. One would be the forensic part, so perhaps trying to get DNA that might link the suspect to the victim. But a big important part would be the medical aspect. So a person might be worried that they've got injuries. Most people won't have any injuries, but we'd be checking for that. They might be really worried, am I going to get pregnant from this rape? So we would assess whether they needed to have emergency contraception. They might be worried about sexually transmitted infections, so we'd discuss that with them. We might give them medications to help prevent them getting certain infections, but we would discuss all that with them. They might just be very frightened, confused, so we'd spend a lot of time. The average examination would be over 3 hours, and again, just going at their pace. We wouldn't do anything that they didn't want to happen to them. So we'd do the examination, the doctor would be documenting any injuries if there were any. They could have the option afterwards, they might want to have a shower, we've got toiletries they can have. The police might want to seize the clothes, take away the clothes that the person's wearing, so we've got clothes that we can give them. We spend quite a lot of time afterwards, did you understand all that? Are you okay with all that? And we give them quite a lot of information that they can take away with them. Another important thing is we would be recontacting people afterwards, a few days afterwards. Are you okay? Did you understand that? Where are you up to with everything? Because they're frightened, they might be tired, they might be in pain, they're confused. So it's a lot to take on board, all this information. So I suppose the main thing is the victim will always have control. We're never going to do anything that they don't want to happen to them. They can change their mind at any point, and that we will be giving them lots of information and supporting them. So practical support can be really important. Is it safe to go home?
What sort of evidence can be collected here?
It varies. Some of it would be the history, so the doctor taking the history from the person. That might be important later on in a trial. Documenting injuries, I've got to stress, the vast majority won't have any major injuries, and some people feel guilty that they've got no injury. They think no one will believe me because I'm not, got black eyes and everything. But in a lot of cases there would be no reason for a person to have injuries, but we would make a note of all of that. Samples, it would be things like urine sample, taking swabs from the mouth, any part of the body surface that has been in contact with the suspect, and we would discuss that with the person. Look, we think we ought to do this, is that okay with you? If a person isn't sure whether they want to involve the police, they could still come here. We'd do all the examination and we would store the samples here. And that's really useful because it buys some time for the person. So they come, they have the examination, we can store everything and we can store it for up to 7 years. Right. And that would give them time to get their head round it. What do I want to do? Do I want to involve the police or not? So that's why it's important, if in doubt, phone us, get your options, get advice from us, and we can take it from there.
If you or somebody you know has been affected by this storyline, please visit e4.com/Hollyoaks, where you can find more help and support available. A full list of the Sexual Assault Referral Centres in England and Wales can also be found on the Rape Crisis website at rapecrisis.org.uk/referral centres2.php.